And a race full of ups and downs right now has Mitt Romney really in the field of candidates trying to win the GOP nomination. But the question now this morning is, has Romney's reign, has it been without some type of opposition, some challenge to him? Political contributor Luke Vargas joins us with more on some of the recent primaries and what's happening recently with Super Tuesday, about to happen any day now. Luke, good morning to you. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Greg.
Hey, let's talk about what happened to Romney now. He doesn't seem to be he's a comeback kid. Why is that?
Well, the term comeback kid is certainly the Romney campaign's language, but the reality might be a little different. I would say he's come back to being this frontrunner, weak as he may be. But he did dodge a very important bullet on just this past Tuesday, winning a state like Michigan, where he had been traditionally polling better than his national averages. So he avoided a big downside risk. And going forward on Super Tuesday, he really only has things to gain. He's a lot of these states like Ohio and Tennessee, he's traditionally polling below his national averages. So it's a lot more upside for him going forward.
He's got the delegate count, right? He's leading Santorum 2-1.
Yes, it might be more than 2-1 at this point. There's a big gap between momentum and the delegate count in this race. Santorum, a few weeks ago, won those 3 states out in the Midwest and Colorado, but yet he didn't really move up in the delegate count, so it's going to take a big shakeup in this race to really change the delegate count that is really tipping in Mitt Romney's favor.
It's interesting. I was talking to some folks who were saying, in fact, Charlie Giroux, who you and I both know, a conservative operative of note in Pennsylvania, saying that, you know what, the Romney campaign is apparently really beating up on the opponents. Is that going to happen to Santorum?
Is he going to beat up Santorum?
Yeah, pretty much with these negative ad attacks.
Well, I don't see him stopping anytime soon until all his competition drops out of the race or has no chance of making any stand later in the summer at convention time. The attacks won't stop from Mitt Romney.
Okay, let's talk about Super Tuesday. 10 states, so much ground to cover, so little time. You're very much tapped into the next generation of voters. Are college volunteers really going to play a big role in getting the word out?
Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to play too big of a role this year. The one thing that young people are really capable of doing in a political race is turning heads. But this year, a lot of the young people are the base of Ron Paul's support, for example. So I remember back at the Iowa caucus when a young person got up to speak and explain why he was supporting Ron Paul. A lot of the older people in the room turned their heads and said, and rolled their eyes. And you know, we all know our grandkids are supporting Ron Paul, so it's not such big news. Whereas in South Carolina, there were a few indications that young people were moving to Newt Gingrich's campaign. That's the kind of movement that, if it had continued, it really would have had potentially a multiplying effect that would have encouraged others to perhaps get on Newt Gingrich's campaign, and that really hasn't happened.
Let's go, and quickly now, there's been so much talk of a brokered convention. Is it still a possibility for what you're hearing of your sources as you're going about the campaign trail?
Not really. It's important to understand the preconditions of a brokered convention and exactly what goes on. It's essentially the major party figures coming in and voiding out many millions of votes that have already been cast and preference for certain candidates. In order to do that and to have the legitimacy for that kind of intervention, Mitt Romney probably would have had to lose Michigan. He would have needed to lose Arizona and Florida before that. And with none of that happening, the odds of a brokered convention seem very low at this point.
All right. Luke Vargas, live from New York City. We'll check in with him next couple of days, weeks, as the campaign continues. Have a good day. All right.